She only wanted love, but what she got was a one-way ticket to madness. The real question is, can she ever escape? Stay till the end and let's find out together. Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting movie journey with us. Sit tight as we bring you the full gist of this popular Nigerian movie filled with morals and hidden lessons. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe. We have many more interesting movie goodies coming your way. So grab your popcorn as I walk you through this unforgettable experience. The movie opens with a young, handsome man named Frank, putting a necklace around his sister's neck. Suddenly, his girlfriend storms in and begins attacking them for no reason. Frank calmly tells his sister to go upstairs, then turns to confront his girlfriend. He reveals that his maid, Obey, had told him his girlfriend was promiscuous. She also told his girlfriend to rush home, saying she would find Frank with another woman. This left Frank confused and shocked. Just then, Obey walks in. On seeing them together, she quickly tries to leave, but Frank calls her back and asks her to repeat what she had told him. Obey denies everything. At that point, Frank's girlfriend attacks Obey, beating her until she runs off. Meanwhile, another young, handsome man named Prince is seen relaxing and watching TV while his maid, Iboro, peels fruit for him to eat. Later, Iboro picks up a cucumber and begins fantasizing about its size. She then tries to compare the cucumber to her boss's manhood. Shocked and disgusted, Prince immediately sends her out of the room. Back in her own room, Iboro appears worried and fearful that Prince may fire her because of what happened. The next morning, Obey is seen pleading with her madam not to send her back to the village. She clings to her madam's feet, begging for mercy. That same morning, Iboro is outside washing Prince's car. When Prince steps out, she tells him she is doing it as a way to apologize for her behavior the day before. Prince asks her when she'll be done. Iboro responds that she'll finish once the bleach she poured on the car has done its job. This infuriates Prince, who angrily sends her back into the house. Seriously, who washes a car with bleach? Later that day, Obey accompanies her madam to a job interview. When the recruiter steps into the living room, Obey stares at him seductively and gets lost in her imagination. When he asks for her name, she gives both her name and her nickname. The recruiter then leaves the room. That evening, Iboro kneels and begs Prince not to sack her. In the middle of this, Prince suddenly smells something burning. Rushing inside to check, he finds that Iboro left the hot pressing iron on one of his shirts, burning it. Furious, Prince orders her to pack her belongings and leave his house immediately. Clearly, Iboro's village people are after her. There's no other explanation. That same night, Obey tries to seduce her boss, assuming he's attracted to her. But instead of falling for it, he tells her to leave his house. Later that night, Prince returns home and finds Iboro still waiting at his gate. She apologizes for the damage she caused to his car and pleads with him to deduct the cost of repairs from her next salary. The following day, Obey visits Iboro. They sit and talk about work and Iboro's boss. Obey then invites Iboro to join her the next day to visit a native doctor who can prepare a charm to attract the men they work for. Iboro refuses the invitation. That night, while Prince is eating dinner, he asks Iboro to bring him more pounded yam. Iboro refuses, reminding him that he had told her not to serve him more than one portion since he's trying to lose weight. But when Prince threatens her, Iboro quickly runs to the kitchen to get the extra food. The next day, the native doctor is seen performing incantations to prepare a charm for Obey. He gives her a special powder meant to be used on the men she wishes to attract. Unaware of the instructions, Obey applies the powder to her own face. The native doctor immediately warns her that the powder wasn't meant for her. Frustrated, Obey demands a refund. On her way back home from the native doctor's place, Obey is confronted by her supervisor. At first, she denies where she had been, but eventually confesses that she had gone to the native doctor. The supervisor then tells her to go home and pack her things, informing her that her boss has fired her and she's being taken back to the village. The next day, Iboro was cleaning the living room when Prince came downstairs. She asked him what he would like to eat when he returned later, so she could prepare it in advance. However, Prince told her not to bother as he was fasting for his weight loss journey. When Iboro reminded him that even his belly needed to reduce, Prince got irritated and told her to shut up before walking out. Iboro muttered to herself as he left. Later that day, Obey visited Iboro, pleading with her to help beg their supervisor to forgive her and take her back. Iboro scolded her for going to the native doctor in the first place, but she eventually agreed to help plead on her behalf. Iboro then mentioned that she needed to go ask her boss for permission to go out. At that moment, something hilarious happened. When Obey learned that Mr. Prince was around, she quickly picked up 2 pebbles and inserted them into her bra to make her nipples visible to Eboro's boss. Shocked and irritated, Eboro immediately turned her down and locked the gate to prevent her from embarrassing herself. Inside the house, Eboro lied to Prince, claiming that her sister had been involved in an accident. Prince reminded her that her file stated she had no sister. Quickly, she changed her story, saying it was actually her cousin. Clearly, this Eboro is troubled. She needs serious deliverance. Prince, however, told her to go wherever she wanted. That same day, both Obey and Eboro went to their madam's house to plead on Obey's behalf. The supervisor asked Eboro if she could vouch for Obey's character, but Eboro declined. Disappointed, the supervisor got up and left them in the living room. That night, Eboro was in the living room flaunting her body when Prince came downstairs and saw her. When he asked what she was doing, she replied that she was doing yoga. Prince, clearly unimpressed, asked her if she thought she could seduce him and ordered her to return to her room. The next day, Obey and her supervisor visited another client named Chief. When Chief came out, the supervisor introduced Obey to him. Chief, in a hurry for a meeting, asked the supervisor to show Obey around. Obey was speechless at the beauty of the apartment. Her supervisor warned her that she was only there to work and not for anything else. One day, Eboro had just come out of the bathroom and was about to dress in her uniform for work. She thought about Obey's earlier advice. Later, Eboro was seen doing the dishes in the kitchen, wearing only a wrapper, dancing and twisting her waist. Prince entered the kitchen and asked why she wasn't in her uniform. Startled, she turned and her wrapper fell off. Prince picked it up, handed it to her, and told her to cover her shame, warning that such behavior should never happen again. Eboro was left blaming herself for listening to Obey. The following night, Chief was in the living room watching a TV show when Obey came in to mop the floor. Really, who cleans at night? Chief told her to do it the next day, but she insisted on doing it immediately, trying to seduce him. Annoyed, Chief sent her out of the living room. One day, while Eboro and Obey were on their way to the market, Eboro complained that her boss was too strict. Obey explained that it was because Eboro didn't package herself well. She advised Eboro to put pebbles or groundnuts in her bra so her nipples would stand and attract her boss. They both laughed it off. The next day, Prince was going through his wardrobe and noticed that the clothes Eboro had collected from the dry cleaners were not his. When he questioned her, Eboro insisted the clothes belonged to him. Furious, Prince sent her back to the dry cleaners to return the clothes and bring back the correct ones. Meanwhile, at Chief's house, he was reviewing some documents in the living room when Obey walked in, once again trying to seduce him. Chief angrily sent her out and wondered what kind of person she was. Later, Obey was seen in the kitchen, wondering why her boss rejected her advances and worrying about what she would tell her supervisor if she got sacked. That evening, Prince returned from work, exhausted. He called out to Eboro but got no response. He tried calling her phone but got no answer. He went out to look for her and found her playing with a snack. Eboro told him that since he had ordered her not to return without his clothes, she didn't know what to do. Prince told her to get into the car, and they left together. Back at the house, Prince scolded her for her careless behavior. Later, in his room, Prince was seen crying silently and reminiscing about his late wife. The next day, Chief complained bitterly to Obey's supervisor about her poor work attitude. He threatened to sack her if it happened again and walked out. The supervisor then scolded Obey and also left. One morning, while Prince was still asleep, Eboro decided to serve him breakfast in bed. As she approached to wake him, Prince shoved her away, and she fell, dislocating her wrist. She cried in pain while Prince got up and walked out. Later, in the living room, Prince helped her apply first aid to the injured wrist. Meanwhile, at Chief's house, his son Ray returned from the US. Chief was overjoyed. Obey too was visibly excited, probably because she thought she had finally met her type. That evening, Prince prepared dinner and Eboro joined him in the kitchen. When she tasted the food, she said it wasn't delicious and suggested that he add sugar, which he surprisingly did. Wow, who cooks African food with sugar? Elsewhere, at Chief's dining table, Chief and his son Ray were eating when Obeyi served them. As she left, she tried to seduce Ray, who looked distracted by her gestures. Later, Obeyi was seen in the kitchen rejoicing and dancing, believing her plan was finally working. But did her plans really work? Well, let's find out together. That night, Prince and Eboro were having dinner. While Prince ate his food, Eboro refused to eat. He encouraged her to join him, but she declined, complaining that the food wasn't tasty. Later, Prince was seen in the toilet suffering from stomach upset due to the terrible meal he had cooked. Eboro checked on him and laughed mischievously at his discomfort. Meanwhile, at Chief's house, Ray was about to go to bed when Obeyi entered his bedroom to ask if he needed anything. At first, he said no, but when Obeyi began caressing his face and acting flirtatiously, he pulled her into the room, and they ended up making love. The next morning, Ray served Obeyi breakfast in bed. She was surprised and felt special, believing she was being loved. But to her shock, the breakfast turned out to be a plate of ground nuts. Confused, she began to wonder if Chief's son might be mentally unstable. Was Ray actually sick? Well, let's find out. That same morning, Eboro was sweeping the compound as Prince prepared to leave for work. He reminded her to let his hand rest, possibly referring to his upset stomach. As he turned to enter his car, his stomach started rumbling again, forcing him to rush back into the house while Eboro laughed mischievously. Meanwhile, Obeyi was filled with regret over sleeping with Ray, especially now that she suspected he might be mentally unstable. She tried to encourage herself with hopeful thoughts when Ray called out to her, saying his friends wanted to meet her. She stepped out to greet them, but something very strange happened. In the living room, Obeyi saw some dolls placed carefully on the couch. When Ray entered the room, he insisted that she greet each of the dolls by their names. That was the moment Obeyi realized, beyond any doubt, that Ray was mentally ill. Later that day, as Prince was walking to his car, he ran into his old friend, Davies. They greeted each other warmly and decided to go to Prince's house together. Back at Chief's house, Ray was watching cartoons on TV and held Obeyi tightly, forcing her to watch with him. When she said she wanted to go to the market, he refused and instead dragged her up to dance with him forcefully. It became obvious that Obeyi had gotten herself into a big mess. The question is, can she get out of it? Let's keep watching. At Prince's house, he welcomed Davies and they had drinks together. During their conversation, Davies mentioned that he had seen Rose, Prince's wife, just 2 weeks ago in Abuja, selling food by the roadside. Shocked, Prince confessed that Rose had died 2 years ago. Later, Prince was seen alone, crying. When Eboro returned from the market and saw him weeping while drinking, she joined him and also took a sip from his bottle, crying along. The sight was both emotional and somewhat hilarious. Still on the same day, Chief returned home and found Ray holding Obeyi by the neck and kissing her. Chief was shocked to see them in that position. Ray declared to his father that he was in love with Obeyi and wanted to marry her immediately. Chief was furious and tried to separate them, but in a fit of anger, Ray lifted Chief off the ground. Now, get ready. What happens next will shock you. One fateful day, a beautiful woman was attending to customers by the roadside when Prince and Davies passed by. To Prince's amazement, he recognized her and called her name, Rose. She was stunned, and the utensils she was holding fell to the ground in shock. Meanwhile, back at Chief's house, Chief brought in some hefty men to restrain Ray. Once Ray was tied down, Chief informed the doctor that they had been cutting off any form of dopamine stimulation. Yet, Ray's madness had been triggered again. After some questioning, they discovered that Ray had slept with Obeyi. When Obeyi was confronted, she denied it. But Chief, knowing how desperate Obeyi could be, shockingly approved his son's request to marry her. Reasoning that since Ray was his only son, and he wanted a grandson, he had no other choice. That night, Prince was overwhelmed with grief when Eboro entered to check on him. He asked her to sit beside him, thanked her for standing by him, then pulled her close. The moment turned romantic as they shared an intimate connection. The next day, Ray was seen enjoying himself as he playfully teased Obey by dressing her up like a thug. Meanwhile, Prince was getting ready for work and woke Ibaro up, asking her to go and prepare breakfast for him. Later that day, the supervisor paid a visit to Chief's house. Chief explained the situation between Obey and his son, Ray. He also informed the supervisor to prepare for their marriage, as he had decided that Ray would marry Obey. This left the supervisor confused and concerned. She requested to see Obey before leaving, but Chief refused. Meanwhile, Iboro sat quietly, reflecting on everything that had happened the previous day. Prince entered and angrily shouted at her for almost burning the kitchen. In response, Iboro shouted back, asking what she had done to deserve such harsh treatment. Without any further discussion, Prince told her to pack her things and leave his house, leaving Ebro in complete shock. That same evening, Davies returned with Rose, who begged Prince for forgiveness. She admitted that her foolishness made her fake her death and move in with another man. But Prince refused to forgive her and firmly instructed Davies to take her out of his house. The next day, Iboro was seen pleading with her supervisor to help rescue Obey from Chief's house. The supervisor agreed to assist. Meanwhile, Obey and Ray continued with their own dramatic exchange. Later that day, Prince returned from work and called out for Eboro. When he got no response, it suddenly hit him that he had sent her away. This realization made him feel sad and regretful. The following day, Eboro tricked Chief's gatekeeper by pretending her car had developed a fault. This distraction allowed her supervisor to enter the house and successfully rescue Obey. Back at their home, the supervisor welcomed both Ibaro and Obey warmly. They hugged her and expressed their gratitude. Later, Prince came looking for Ibaro. He apologized sincerely and begged her to return, saying he missed her presence in the house. That same day, Chief was seen shouting at his gatekeeper for letting Ray escape. He ordered him to go out and find Ray and warned him not to return until he did. The next day, Iboro sat in the living room, lost in thought. Obey joined her and encouraged her to stay, knowing that Iboro had been thinking about Prince. She advised her not to travel back to Akwa Ibom State. Later, Prince came to visit and pleaded once again with Iboro not to leave. She agreed to stay. They hugged and shared a kiss, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. And that's it, guys. This story highlights the importance of forgiveness, patience, and doing the right thing, even when it's hard. It shows how manipulation, lies, and desperate actions like those of Obey and Rose can lead to unwanted consequences. At the same time, Iboro's kindness and strength eventually earned her love and respect. In the end, honesty, humility, and staying true to oneself always lead to better outcomes than deceit and selfish ambition. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share your thoughts, and of course, click the subscribe button for more captivating movies from us. See you next time.